I've got a smile on my face because I just love to see green on the screen on a Friday morning. Dow's up 300 points, the Nasdaq's up 63. I would call it a benign inflation report this morning. No real surprises. Market likes it. President Trump says he will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. Watch.
No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this directly?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now.
KT McFarland with me here in New York City this morning. If Israel can't take the West Bank, is Netanyahu just now free to finish off Hamas for good in Gaza?
Okay, so let me unpack this because it's kind of complicated. So Israel, think of it as like a peanut, and on one side and on the other side are Palestinians. On the right side of Israel is the West Bank. On the left side is Gaza. Now, when the Europeans, the British, and others say, we're recognizing the Palestinian state, what is this Palestinian state? Is he both sides of Israel or now the new Palestinian state? What the Israelis have always done, and the U.S. has always objected to, Republican or Democrat, is Israel will buy land inside the West Bank, put settlements there, and then claim this is Israeli territory. And so what the Palestinians have argued is that, well, Israel's just trying to buy its way into no Palestine, right? That they're trying to buy more stuff, and then it's going to make a Palestinian state, not a reality. Now, the reason President Trump has come out and said this is I think he's gotten really close to a deal. I mean, I think that he's gotten the Arab countries, which are going to have to pay for everything. He's just met with them a day or two ago. And according to press reports, he's presented the following deal. No more Israeli settlements on the West Bank. Ceasefire, immediate ceasefire. All the hostages come home. And then the Gaza will be governed, a temporary government, maybe headed by Tony Blair, who would be an interim leader.
The former Prime Minister of Great Britain.
I know.
Why
Tony
on
Blair.
earth would he run Gaza?
He wouldn't run Gaza so much as he would be the transitional head while Gaza figures his act out.
Okay.
But that it would be patrolled by and protected by a force that would include the Arabs, the Sunnis, Muslims, some Palestinians, and maybe some Israelis, but no Israeli occupation. I mean, I think that's a terrific deal, but the only problem is Hamas won't go along with it.
Yeah, but if they're totally beaten and all their leaders are out and they're literally gone, then the field is open for that kind of deal. And you think it's close? I
think that what is everybody's saying, and the great advice Richard Nixon gave me when I worked for him was, you're going to pay the whole penalty, whether you do it halfway or whole way, so you might as well go for the whole thing. I think if Israel can eliminate and obliterate Hamas, which is what Bibi Netanyahu is talking about right now at the UN, and there's no Hamas. He's done Israel a favor, he's done the region a favor, he's frankly done the Palestinians a favor. And then you look at the day after plan.
Who's paying? I mean, Gaza is in rubble. That's all it is.
97% of it is in rubble, and 98% of them are unemployed. Who's going to pay? The Gulf Arabs, and that's why Trump has been meeting.
Is that part of the deal?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I'm just reporting news reports, but from what I understand and talking to people, that would be the deal. That it's paid for by the countries in the region.
I've not yet found out exactly what Netanyahu is saying at the United Nations. He started speaking just a few minutes ago.
Yes, exactly.
I wonder if he will address that issue. West Bank, Gaza region, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if he'll address it.
Well, what he said so far, and I've been watching it right before I came on the air, is first of all, half the UN walked out. To be expected. They all hate Israel. But what he's talked about is the atrocities of October 7th. Don't forget. He says the world seems to have forgotten. They somehow blamed Israel. And he's talking about the security threat that you just cannot allow Hamas to survive.
What a plus that would be if he struck a deal. That would be something else.
Well, that would be really big.
Oh, cheer it on. KT, thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.